Hey, this is your next door neighbor. I'm here with another episode. This will be part 3 of proof that the Bible is real. Okay? If you looked at part 1, you saw that the Bible did the impossible in that it gave so many predictions about one person, which science studied. Someone that was a chairman of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering did a study of probability and said it was virtually impossible for the Bible to make predictions, and it did it. So you can go to part 1 to find out about that. Part 2, we saw that the Bible did a prophecy that dated over 1,000 years. So that was part 2. So now we're at part 3. We're going to elaborate more on some of the things that was in part 1 and part 2, actually mostly in part 2. And we're going to try to see if it's really true. It's going to help elaborate on it. Okay?
Listen to me now.
Notice that another beast came up. So let's just break this down. Okay? First of all, it says that this beast was dreadful and terrible. We said that it was strong exceedingly, and it had great, what does that say? Great strong teeth. It had iron teeth. Further, it says, and it devoured and broke to pieces and stamped out the residue. What do you think that's pretty much saying based on your understanding of what we had discussed before? You see, the Bible is not about any private interpretation, but based on the symbols and everything you have available to you, you understand, number one, it was a beast. We understand that the beast had to be a nation. There's no question about it. Each beast was a nation. This is a nation. We already have the order. So what nation does it start out to be? It's no question that it had to be Rome. It has to do something with Rome. Okay? Now, they said it was dreadful. And then it says something that was significant that we had talked about before. It said, and it had 10 horns. Uh-oh. So we're reading from Daniel 7, verse 8. And it says, I considered the horn, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, a horn before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn, were eyes like the eyes of a man, and it had a mouth speaking great things. Okay. Now we talked about the 10, and now we're coming past 476, because now we're dealing with 10 horns. 10 horns had to do with divisions, if you remember. And so it says within the 10 horns, a little horn came up and plucked up 3 horns. Now, based on what we know and based on the past, we already know who these other 10 divisions were. So if what I'm saying is true, and if the Bible is accurate, it would have to have said that it plucked up 3 of these divisions. Did that happen? My friend, my chest is hurting because I'm so surprised how believable this is, because it's shocking. Do you know that that a horn came up and plucked up 3 of those divisions? The Ostrogoths, the Vandals, and the Heruli. Would you believe that? Now, here's the thing. History is proving what I'm saying. I am not telling you anything that I'm making up. And I don't claim to be any great Bible scholar. And this information is available to everyone. Okay? Now, a horn came up and, according to history, plucked up 3 horns. I told you the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, and the Heruli. At that time, if you check history, that would have been around 538 AD. That was after Christ. And it says it devoured much flesh. It said that it stamped out the residue. What happened? What significance happened around that time? If you go online and you say 538, the Dark Ages was around that time. And there was a major darkness. If anybody heard about the Dark Ages, they try to not tell our young people about that, or the people of before. Well, I'm young. I consider myself young. Anyway, but they don't want to tell them about the Dark Ages. But that was when a certain type of power came up and was stamping out anybody that wouldn't follow their lead. It just so happens that the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, and the Heruli refused to submit to their power, and so they wiped them out. This power actually killed over 50 million people. It was so sad. But if you check history about the Dark Ages, you'll know who that power was. And it came out of Rome. Now, if you have any doubts, I'm telling you, you've got to stick with me because I have more information for you about this. Stay tuned.
Listen to me now.